Ce-ai face tu dacă ai vedea că băiatul tău te minte în halul ăsta?
Hello and welcome to our film show here on Arts24. Film critic Emma Jones joins me to take us through the week's releases. Hello, Emma. Now, we're starting with a lavish French epic that cost 30 million euros to make, and it was then savaged by many critics when it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. We're talking about Gilles Lellouche's teen romance, Beating Hearts, or Amour Ouf, as it's known in French. This film had a really rough ride at Cannes, didn't it, Emma?
Yeah, I think the whole film journey has been pretty oof for it if you think that it's been planned for about 10 years. And then, as you say, I mean, to continue on a theme, it had its beating heart ripped out of it at Cannes when it was disparaged by many. But, you know, I'm not going to be one of them, actually.
An outlier, well done.
Yes, absolutely. So this film is adapted from a 1997 Irish novel, Jackie Loves Johnson, OK? And the film is set in northeastern France, and it's a story about two teenagers from different social backgrounds, Clotaire and Jackie, who fall explosively in love. And they are played exquisitely, I have to say, by newcomers Malik Fricka and Mallory Wanek. But Clotaire can't stop his path towards violence. And before you know it, it's going to be 12 long years for these star-crossed lovers apart, during which, of course, they transition into their adult versions.
Oh, and those adult versions played by big stars here in France, François Civil and Adèle Exarchopoulos. How's the chemistry between them?
Well, there's been quite a lot of disparagement about the chemistry as well, but we shall come to that later. For now, the question lingers, can that first love still endure?
OK, well, let's find out. Here's a look at Beating Hearts.
Je veux te voir, Jackie. Elle est mariée et elle est heureuse.
Parce que penser à toi, c'était m'inquiéter pour toi.
C'est qui ce type? Tu as gâché toute ta vie comme ça.
C'est pas ma vie, ça!
So there's a lot there. Maybe the problem is that the film's trying to do too many things. It's too ambitious.
That's been the basis of a lot of criticism, and it seems to be that, the criticism is that Lellouche mixed up his genres, whether it's the rom-com, the musical, the gangster violence, and he's made an indigestible teen romance gangster musical of some kind. But, you know, he was aided in his writing by Audrey Divan, amongst others, and so these are a team of really experienced screenwriters, and Lellouche had said that he wanted to make an ultra-violent romantic comedy inspired by films such as West Side Story, also by Tarantino, Scorsese, and I put a bit of Baz Luhrmann in there and Romeo and Juliet. Now, the film does have musical elements, the best being an electric dance sequence that Clotaire and Jackie do, set to The Cure's The Forest, and it's shown to depict them falling in love. And I think Lellouche really does get the teen romance element of this film right. Because falling in love for the first time at that age can feel like a bit of an out-of-body experience. So when Lellouche goes large, I think a lot of the film really works.
OK, so for you, this would be a recommend?
You know, yes, I think it is a very commercial, watchable movie. Some of the criticism is justified. The film's bloated length at 2 hours, 46 minutes is hard. And you mentioned the chemistry between the two leading adult actors there. Well, I don't think that criticism has been justified. I think what happens is that the director lingers on the teen romance quite long. It's really hard for the adult actors to pick the story up. But, you know, he has tried to make something epic, and in many places I think he does succeed in making something quite grand and nostalgic about first love.
It sounds very romantic, certainly.
It is.
Well, now onto a film that could definitely be classified as an art house production. It's out next week in France. This is Emmanuel Parvu's 3 Kilometres to the End of the World. Now, Parvu is very much part of that so-called Romanian new wave. The film was also in competition at the Cannes Film Festival. It actually won the Queer Palm Award. Tell us more about this one.
Yeah, it's a story of a teenager, Adi, age 17, and he lives in the Romanian countryside. It's all being filmed in the area known as the Danube Delta, where that river meets the Black Sea. And that proves to be a beautiful, unusual, lush backdrop for some classic Romanian kitchen sink drama. Now, Pavu says he wanted to set the film particularly there because while it's quite remote, there's a film festival there in the summer, there's a lot of tourists around, and so it's a place where really there's a potential for a bit of a clash between modern and traditional values. Now, Adi, played by Cyprian Chudea, he is, his parents' darling. They want him to go to military school. They even imagine him to be dating a local girl. But one night, Adi is badly beaten up. Now, we don't see the attack, but in the scene before, he's having a romantic encounter with a young male tourist. Now, once this story leaks out, Adi becomes the villain of this investigation.
Okay, sounds like a lot of dramatic tension. Let's take a look at the film.
Nu-ți dai seama ce o să fie pe aici dacă rămâne. Și ți-e frică de curalul. Dar eu nu cu lumea stau în păs.
Du-te, tu du-te, du-te!
Ne vedem diseară și-ți povestesc.
Mama, ține bunit, deschide ușa!
Sper Seidele se duc mai bine de pe plajă.
So it looks like things take a pretty violent turn there. Wasn't this partly based on true events?
Yes, Pavu has said that he was partly inspired by a real incident that happened some years ago, the gang rape of a teenage girl, and how as time went on she was slowly blamed by her neighbours for the attack. Now, I think the downside of this film, while it is really good, is that we never truly get to know Adi as a character or his parents, and that is despite some very impressive performances, particularly by Laura Vassilou, who plays the mother. Now, the mother's reaction to her son's homosexuality is possibly the most distressing aspect of the film as time goes on, and you saw a glimpse there in the film of what Adi is subjected to. His mother is very devout, gets the Orthodox Church involved, and so he goes through quite a lot at their hands, but at the direction of his parents. Now, Pavu's last film, Morocco, also deals with broken family relationships, and I'd say this film is really about what happens when the unconditional love you should have for your child is really conditional.
Wow, so some heavy subject matter there. Well, on to another festival that's taking place at the moment. That's the Lumière Festival in Lyon, named for the city's famous cinematic sons, the Lumiere brothers. We've already seen some pretty prestigious attendees at the festival so far this year.
Indeed, and possibly the most prestigious or the most famous was director Tim Burton, who turned up with his partner Monica Bellucci, of course, also in Burton's Beetlejuice sequel. And it was actually Monica Bellucci who was the expected guest, because she was there with a documentary about Maria Callas that she's part of. But the Lumière Festival is a special place for the pair of them. They actually met there a couple of years ago when she presented Burton with his Lumière Award, and Burton presented a special award to Greek French filmmaker Costa Gavras, who, age 91, was a special guest of the opening ceremony.
Very beloved here in the French cinema industry. And there was also a very touching tribute at the opening ceremony to French actor Michel Blanc, who died this month. The audience apparently joined in a sing-song, the theme tune to his cult 1979 hit French Fried Vacation 2.
Oh, those really touching moments, and others who have lit up the Lumière Festival also include Cinema Paradiso director Giuseppe Tornatore. Also, Vincent Lindon has been present, of course, fresh from his Best Actor win at the Venice Film Festival. He was present for two screenings about a film about himself, which he self-narrates as well. Sounds interesting. And Benicio del Toro also gave a masterclass, as did Vanessa Paradis.
So there's a lot going on then in Lyon. What have we still got coming up?
Yes, well, the big one. Isabelle Huppert receives the Lumiere Award. She gives a masterclass, and her films are also being shown this week. And the festival has actually released a lovely reel of some of the highlights of her career. So why don't we take a look?
Alice, lâche-moi, me touche pas! J'en peux plus! Je te supporte plus! J'en ai marre de toi!
And just to say, the closing ceremony on Sunday is a tribute to Alain Delon, who died in August, and the closing film is a restored print of 1960's Purple Noon.
Another icon of French cinema. Well, finally, many of us will be familiar with this one. The 1942 Disney classic animation Bambi. I think many of us still have traumatic memories. Now, a French director is bringing a live-action event, a live-action version of that film. Tell us what this is all about.
Yes, if the unhappy events that befall Bambi's mum in the Disney version hasn't left us all traumatised enough. But no, seriously, this isn't traumatic at all. Bambi, the story of a life in the woods, is a visually stunning film by director Michel Fessler. Now, he co-wrote the groundbreaking natural history film from 2005, March of the Penguins.
Huge.
You might remember that, yes, indeed. And I think this film is really an attempt to go back to the original 1920s Bambi book by Austrian writer Felix Salten, which of course was totally eclipsed by the Disney version. Now, this film is narrated very poetically by French music star Mylène Farmer, and it's set in gorgeous countryside in the Loire Valley. Not only does it feature a male fawn called Bambi, but also there's some fully grown deer, stags, there's a crow, bird of prey, a rabbit, a wolf, and some of the sounds of the true villain of the film as well, the human hunter. And this is not an observational documentary, by the way. The animals really are performing.
Okay, so working animals, acting animals. I suppose the film has prompted some criticism from animal rights activists, though, right?
Yes, it has, for using these so-called animal actors, and also because it was filmed, I think, in a park instead of within the wild. But the director's statement does say that the animals were treated with the utmost love, care and respect. And in fact, there's been a few photos released to the press of some of the deer coming right up to the director when he's in the monitor area. So if that doesn't offend you, then this, in fact, is a wonderful film that really immerses you in the woodland and the glory of nature.
Oh, wow. Well, hopefully it's not going to cause the generational trauma that the Disney version inflicted upon all of us. Thank you so much for that roundup, Emma. We'll leave you with a look at the real-life Bambi. Otherwise, do check in with us here on Arts24 for more movies, news, arts and culture. See you next time.
It is time to choose your destiny. Bambi, my little Bambi.
Hello, I'm Annette Young, the host of the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Join us each week as we talk to and report on those working to boost gender equity. You can catch the show on France 24 and France24.com.